The sound cuts through the entire restaurant like a gunshot. One sharp crack, and then silence. Every fork stops moving. Every glass stops clinking. 43 people turn their heads at the exact same moment, and what they see makes two women near the window reach for each other's hands. Maya Reeves sits frozen in her chair. Her left cheek burns. Her right hand moves slowly, instinctively, to her round 8-month belly. The baby inside her does not kick. Even the child seems to understand that stillness is the only safe answer right now. Across the linen-white table, her husband, Derek Reeves, straightens his jacket, calm like he just signed a check, like he did not just strike his pregnant wife in front of a room full of strangers. His jaw is tight, his eyes are flat and dark. "You embarrassed me," he says, low and even. "Don't do it again." No one at the surrounding table speaks. No waiter steps forward. Maya's eyes fill not with tears, not yet, but with something colder. A question she has been swallowing for 14 months. Is this real? Is this really my life? She does not know that 40 feet away, at a corner table with a single glass of water and an untouched steak, an older man in a gray suit has placed his fork down very carefully on the edge of his plate. He has not looked away from her since the moment it happened. His hands are completely still. His name is Richard Calloway, and what Derek Reeves does not know, what no one in this room knows, is that the woman whose cheek is still burning is Richard Calloway's daughter. His only daughter, the one he has spent 26 years searching for. HI viewers, before this story goes any further, I need to ask you something personal. Have you ever stayed silent in a moment when you should have walked away? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because what Maya does in the next few minutes will either shock you or set you completely free. And trust me, you will not believe what happens next. Maya's hands press flat against the tablecloth. The linen is cold. The candle between them flickers once, twice, then steadies like it too is holding its breath. The entire restaurant has returned to its quiet hum, but it is the kind of quiet that covers something, the kind that pretends. Derek leans forward. His voice drops to a temperature just above freezing. "I said we were leaving at 8. You kept talking to that woman at the bar. You made me look weak." He picks up his wine glass. He actually takes a sip. "You always make me look weak." Maya's jaw tightens. 14 months. She counts the months the way a person counts steps down a staircase in the dark, carefully, terrified of the bottom. 14 months of "you embarrassed me." 14 months of "you are nothing without what I gave you." 14 months of a phone she was not allowed to check past 9 at night, a car she could not drive without texting him the address first, a bank account she could see but never touch alone. And now this, in public, with their child pressing against her ribs. She looks down at her belly, her baby girl, 7 pounds 3 ounces at the last ultrasound. The doctor had pointed at the screen and said, "She's perfect." Maya had cried the whole drive home, not from joy, but from a terror she could not name yet. She names it now. She is bringing a daughter into a house where a man believes that a slap is a reasonable response to inconvenience. Her chin lifts, 1 centimeter, but it lifts. In the corner, Richard Calloway watches, and he reaches slowly for his phone. Outside the restaurant, the night air hits Maya's face like cold water. She pushed back from the table 6 minutes after the slap. She didn't say a word to Derek. She simply stood, both hands on her belly, and walked toward the front door. The maitre d' opened it without being asked, his eyes never meeting hers, the way people avoid looking directly at something that shames them. The sidewalk smells like rain that already passed. The streetlights make the wet pavement glow orange and gold. Maya stands at the edge of the curb and breathes. In, out. Her cheek still carries the heat of Derek's hand, a brand she cannot see but can feel down to the bone. Her phone buzzes. She almost doesn't look. Derek controls her phone the way a puppeteer controls strings. She knows any message could be him, already recalibrating, already preparing the version of tonight that will somehow become her fault. But the number is one she doesn't recognize. A Chicago area code. The message is 4 words. "Are you all right?" She looks up. Through the restaurant's tall glass window, past the candle-lit tables and the moving shapes of other people's ordinary evenings, she sees the man from the corner. He is standing now. He has left cash on the table. She can see the corner of several bills, and he is looking directly at her. Not with pity. With recognition. Her stomach drops. The baby kicks hard, sudden, the first kick in 20 minutes, and Maya presses her palm to her side and stares back at the man in the gray suit. She has never seen him before in her life. Or has she? Derek is at her elbow in under 2 minutes. He came out the side exit, the one near the bar, which means he moved fast, which means he saw her looking at the window. His hand closes around her upper arm. Not a grip that would leave a mark, exactly tight enough to steer. "The car is out front," he says, flat, transactional, a man managing an asset that has wandered slightly out of position. "I need a minute," Maya says. "You've had your minute." The man in the gray suit pushes through the restaurant's front door at that exact second. He does not rush. He does not raise his voice. He simply steps onto the sidewalk 12 feet away, and his presence does something to the air that Maya cannot explain, like the temperature dropped 2 degrees, and the street got very, very quiet. Derek's grip loosens by a fraction. He has noticed him. Men like Derek always notice other men immediately. They run the calculation fast. Threat or not a threat, above or below. The gray suit is expensive. The watch is more expensive. The man's face is composed in a way that requires either tremendous peace or tremendous power. Derek cannot tell which. That alone makes him uneasy. "Excuse me," the man says, looking only at Maya. "I believe you dropped this inside." He holds out a small black card, the kind with no logo, just a name and a number. Maya's hand reaches for it before her brain makes the decision. Derek steps forward. She doesn't need. She can decide that. The man's eyes move to Derek for exactly 1 second. One, then back to Maya. "Call that number when you're ready," he says. "I'll explain everything." The car ride home lasts 19 minutes and contains 0 words. Derek drives with one hand on the wheel, the other resting on the center console, his ring facing up, a reflex Maya has noticed that appears whenever he is calculating something. He does not ask about the card. He does not mention the man. Both of those silences feel more dangerous than anything he could have said out loud. Maya keeps the card in her left fist, pressed against her thigh beneath the fabric of her dress. The baby shifts position. A slow roll, not a kick. The kind of movement that feels like the child is simply turning to face a new direction, finding a safer angle. "Me too, baby," Maya thinks, "me too." The house is a 4,800 square foot showcase in the Lincoln Park neighborhood that Derek purchased 18 months ago with what he called family money. Maya has since learned that family money is a phrase Derek uses to mean money I will remind you of every time you consider leaving. She showers with the bathroom door locked. She has done this for 9 months. She barely notices anymore. At 11:47 p.m., after Derek's breathing in the next room deepens into sleep, Maya sits on the edge of the bathtub in the dark with her phone in her hands. She looks at the card. In the glow of the screen, she can read the name for the first time clearly. Richard Calloway. Below the name in small clean type, Calloway Group, Chicago, S. 1987. Her heart slows, then speeds, then slows again. She has heard that name before, a long time ago, in a different life, from a mother who spoke it once quietly and then never again. She dials. He answers on the first ring. Maya, not a question, a confirmation. The way someone says a name they have been practicing in an empty room for years. Her throat closes. "Who are you?" she whispers. A breath, long, the kind that carries weight. "I am your father," Richard Calloway says, "and I have been looking for you since you were 2 years old." The bathtub is cold porcelain against the back of her legs. The baby kicks once, twice. Maya's hand flies to her belly and stays there, a wall, a promise, a reflex she does not question. "My mother told me you were dead," she finally says. "I know what she told you." His voice is steady but not cold. It carries something she recognizes from the inside of her own chest, a grief that has been carried so long it calcified into calm. She was protecting something. I've spent a long time understanding that. But Maya, tonight, what I saw that man do to you, he stops. I cannot stay quiet about that. She thinks about Derek asleep 8 feet through a wall. She thinks about the card she hid in the toe of a shoe in the back of the closet. She thinks about her daughter, currently the size of a watermelon, who will open her eyes in 3 weeks and see whatever world her mother has built for her. "What do you want from me?" Maya asks. "Nothing," Richard says. "I want to give you something, options, the ones you don't know you have yet." Outside the bathroom window, a car passes. Its headlights sweep the wall. "Tomorrow," he says, "meet me, and bring nothing that he can track." 16 hours later, Maya sits across from Richard Calloway in a private room at the back of a hotel lobby she has never entered before. She came alone. She left her regular phone on the kitchen counter, screen up, ringer on, the way Derek requires, and used a prepaid she bought at a pharmacy 4 blocks from the house, paying cash, hood up, heart hammering. Richard does not look like a billionaire in the way movies show billionaires. He is 64 years old, broad-shouldered, with gray at his temples and a kind of tired warmth in his eyes that suggests he earned every gray hair doing something that mattered. He slides a folder across the table. "I didn't come to this city on vacation," he says. "I have been watching Derek Reeves for 11 weeks. Maya's hand opens the folder before she consciously decides to open it. Inside, financial records, screenshots of wire transfers, a $2.3 million insurance policy taken out on Maya's life, dated 6 weeks after she announced the pregnancy, Derek's signature, a beneficiary line filled with a name Maya does not recognize. A woman, a name, an address in Evanston. Not an accident, not paranoia, a plan. Maya's breath leaves her body in a single, long, quiet exhale. She has known, somewhere beneath her sternum, for months. But knowing something in the gut and seeing it in a signed document are 2 completely different sizes of truth. "He was going to," she cannot finish the sentence. "Yes," Richard says simply, "he was." The baby kicks, hard, right against Maya's ribs like a fist against a door. "Tell me what to do," Maya says. This time, her hands are completely still. 48 hours after that meeting, Derek Reeves is arrested at 6:14 a.m. 2 detectives, the front door, the kind of knock that does not wait for an answer. Maya is not in the house when they come. She is in the 3rd floor of the Calloway Group's Chicago office, in a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook the lake, sitting beside a family attorney named Priya Das who has not smiled once but has used the phrase, "We have everything we need," 4 times in the last hour. That phrase is now Maya's favorite sequence of words in the English language. Richard stands at the window, his back to the room, watching the water. The insurance policy was the beginning. Priya's team found more, a pattern of financial fraud that stretched back 3 years, joint accounts drained during the pregnancy, $180,000 redirected to the Evanston address while Maya was on bed rest. Phone records between Derek and a private attorney that began the week after Maya's first trimester scan. He had been building a cage. He had forgotten to check who owned the land it was built on. He used the pregnancy as a timeline, Priya says, laying 3 documents on the table. He planned to file for emergency guardianship of the child the moment she was born, claiming Maya was mentally unfit. With her isolated from family, no income of her own, no independent counsel, he believed it would work. Maya stares at the documents. The paper is crisp and white and completely damning. She thinks about 14 months. She thinks about a phone she was not allowed to touch after 9 p.m. "What happens now?" she asks. "Now," Priya says, "he answers for all of it." The case takes 4 months to build, and 11 minutes for a judge to rule on. Derek's attorney, the expensive kind, the kind that charges $900 per hour and never looks directly at opposing counsel, enters the courtroom believing in the probability of a deal. He exits it understanding that probability was not on his side today. Derek pleads guilty to 2 counts of financial fraud and 1 count of criminal endangerment. He is sentenced to 36 months in a minimum security facility and ordered to repay $310,000 in redirected marital assets. His professional licenses are suspended. The insurance policy is voided and flagged by the Illinois Department of Insurance for a permanent record review. He sits in that courtroom, and he does not look at Maya once. She notices, and she notices that she notices, and then she puts it down, the way you put down a bag you have been carrying so long you forgot it was heavy. 2 rows behind her, Richard Calloway sits with his hands folded. He does not speak during the ruling. He does not pump his fist or exhale loudly. He simply nods once at the back of his daughter's head. Maya's daughter, Nia, born 6 weeks before the trial at 6 pounds, 14 ounces, loud from the first second, is home with a nurse Richard hired without being asked. In the hallway outside the courtroom, Priya grips Maya's arm once, firm and quick. "You did this," she says. "Not him, you." Maya looks at her, then at the wide courthouse windows, the morning light coming through in long, clean lines. "I know," she says. 14 months later, Maya Reeves walks onto a stage in front of 800 people and does not shake. She has a new business card, not a card with someone else's name on it, her own, Calloway Reeves Foundation, a nonprofit she built over 11 months with seed funding from Richard, a board of 7 women she found in the most broken corners of their own stories, and a mission statement she wrote at 2 a.m. with Nia asleep on her chest. The foundation's focus: legal and financial resources for pregnant women in abusive households. In its first year, it served 214 women across Illinois and Indiana. 41 of them had situations with evidence strikingly similar to Maya's. 41 plans that looked like accidents waiting for a convenient moment. Richard sits in the front row. He is wearing the same gray suit. He is not trying to hide the fact that he is crying. Maya adjusts the microphone. She looks out at the audience. "They will always underestimate you," she says. "That is their first mistake. Your only job is to still be standing when they realize it." The room is quiet the way rooms only go quiet when everyone in them is holding the same breath. Nia, now 13 months old, is in the front row on Richard's knee. She reaches up and pats his face once with a flat baby hand. He laughs. It is the loudest sound in the room. Derek Reeves is in month 8 of a 36-month sentence. Maya has not said his name out loud in 6 months. She does not plan to start today. She leans into the microphone. Now, she says, let's get to work. If this story moved something in you, share it with one person who needs to hear it right now. Not tomorrow, right now. Because somewhere tonight, a woman is sitting in a bathroom in the dark holding a phone, trying to decide if she's worth fighting for. Your share might be the answer she's waiting for. Leave a comment below and tell us, what was the moment Maya finally became unstoppable to you? Hit that subscribe button not for us, but to stay inside a community of people who believe that strength was always there. It was just waiting to be proven. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after.